Welcome back, y'all, to Searching for Faith. If you're new here, I'm Tracy, and today's video is going to be all about a flip through of my new giant Bible study notebook / journal. So let's get started. Okay guys, so let's get started. So this is gonna be a bit different. Let me get my other prayer journal and show you a comparison. And I just realized I called it a prayer journal, but what I meant was, let me show you my old Bible study journal. So I have currently, and I do plan to do a flip through of this. I have about, how much do I have left in this journal? Only a few pages left, so I'm like almost done. So I am like this amount left in this particular journal. So very, very close to the end. But this one is a B5 Archer and Olive notebook. But when I started finishing this one up and needing to create a new one, it was right after Christmas. And they just didn't have many in stock, and I just didn't see any other brands or anything that I liked. And so what I realized is that, one, the dot grid isn't super good at helping me stay in the lines. I still sometimes just like, here's kind of an example of some of my Acts study. I don't know if you can tell, but I write crooked. Some of my notes are pretty, some aren't. Like, sometimes I try to keep my notes pretty. I actually did like a little flip through of some of my Bible studies. Sometimes they're pretty, sometimes they're messy, but regardless, my writing is usually bigger, and I have a hard time staying in the lines even with dot grids. I was like, you know what? Why do I even have dot grid in this notebook? So I decided to go to an art journal. Let me get a ruler so I can kind of show you guys like the size difference. So my B5, which is a pretty big notebook, a lot of bullet journalers love Archer and Olive notebooks, and most of them use the A5 size. This is a B5, which is a little over 7 inches by maybe like 9.5, 10. Like about 7 by 10 inches is the B5 size. And there are about 160, maybe. How many pages are in this notebook? 160 pages are in this notebook. I can't remember how many are in this notebook, but I did just get at Michael's this is actually, I don't know if y'all can see that very good, but it's just Artist Loft brand. And I'm sure I'm still in frame. It is just Artist Loft brand, and at Michael's, they had these really beautiful colors. If you saw in my birthday haul, then you saw that I had told you that I had bought a black one at like an actual like art store, like at a Blick store. But then saw these at Michael's and was like, they have such cute colors. And so I decided to get a cute color one instead. So this is 9, like 11-ish inches tall by about almost 9 inches wide. So pretty big. I'm not sure how many pages there are, but it's this beautiful mint green color. Absolutely love it. So we're just gonna do a quick, I cannot talk, y'all. I think I filmed most of my videos on Friday afternoons, but I was at a conference all day that I was like on the like committee board for that put on the conference. And it was a virtual conference and my brain is fried. So I'm hoping that I can actually like get my words out. I think one of the things that I haven't told you guys before is that I am actually mildly hearing impaired. So I do have a mild hearing impairment. And most of my childhood, I wore hearing aids until I was a teenager, and I pretty much just flat out refused to wear a hearing aid anymore, and then just like adapted to living without a hearing aid. Not ideal it was the 80s and early 90s and nobody cared back then. Nowadays, I probably would have an amazing deaf hard of hearing teacher that would encourage me to keep wearing my hearing aid. But because of my hearing loss, I also had a lisp and a speech impediment as a child and received speech therapy. And sometimes, especially when I'm tired, like it comes out stronger, and sometimes my words kind of come out funny. So I apologize in advance if my words sound off or not perfectly clear. I'm hoping that I am very coherent for this YouTube video, but just a heads up, and then like a small insight into my childhood. Like when I was in kindergarten, I had to use the FM system, which is where you have like if I can find a picture of it, I'll put a picture, but like where as a child, I had to wear this like, now that remember this was the 80s, but this like vest thing that had like the system on it with little wires that went up to my ears. And then the teacher had to wear a microphone. I actually had to switch teachers halfway through my kindergarten year because my first kindergarten teacher refused to wear the microphone, which nowadays would not happen. Like a teacher would get in so much trouble for that. But once again, this is the 80s. And then I got hearing aids that thankfully got smaller and smaller, but in the 80s and early 90s, hearing aids were still very visible. They weren't those invisible ones that they have today. So I feel like if I grew up now, my childhood would probably be very different, and the services that I received and the embarrassment over wearing a hearing aid and all of that probably would have affected me differently now than it did when I was a kid. But it's a little mini insight into me and my childhood. But yeah, so hopefully I keep myself together and I'm coherent for you guys today. But yeah, so we're just gonna do a very quick flip through. I have only done like the intro pages of this notebook and decorated the outside. So I got a bunch of stickers. I know this one is from Coffee and Bible Time. It is a sticker that says, "Life isn't always rainbows, cupcakes, and butterflies, but I put my hope in Christ." And this one was actually like if you saw my haul from Coffee and Bible Time. Okay, and then the second sticker I have is this one right here that says, "I'm a messy, broken, in need of grace, everyday type of girl." I can't remember if this one, where I got this one either. I know I had some like Etsy orders and stickers from Coffee and Bible Time, so I can't remember where this one's from, but I will link it below if I can. On the inside, I kind of went with this, make sure it's all in frame. Inside, I kind of went with this. I was gonna make stickers. They didn't come out amazing, but I did just print out some butterflies and flowers off of Canva, and then printed them onto sticker paper and just cut them out and put them here. And then I had this printable that I used actually in my Bible setup video, and I just reprinted it and printed it like full size instead and cut it out and put it in here. And it's just this beautiful typewriter with flowers that says, "I am with you always," from Matthew 28:20. And then on the very first page, we have a key, and I am going to use a system where on the edges, I put washi tape. So I am going to have a washi tape reference. So my key is that the black grid is going to be reference pages. The brown grid is going to be trackers. The pink grid is going to be questions. This map washi is going to be Acts study. This orange grid washi is going to be word and verse studies. And then I'll pick a different washi tape for when I finish my Acts study and move on to another book. I will put another color washi there. So any pages that have this black grid is going to be reference pages. And I found all of these really fun reference pages from amycenter.com. I initially found her, I think, on Etsy, and then I realized she had a website, and so I went on her website. She had a lot of free resources, and then some that I could get, I paid for digitally to download. But this first resource is the Old and New Testament in chronological order. Some people like to read the Bible in chronological order. I'm not really doing a Bible through a year. I'm like focusing on like really digging into Psalms and then one additional book at a time. So I'm not really doing necessarily a Bible through a year. I'm just digging into certain books in particular. But so you have the Old Testament in chronological order, and then, and she has just little extra notes, like 400 years later, New Testament, and she's got these fun doodles all over it. And then the New Testament in chronological order. I will link her website below for all of her printables. Then she has this Bible vocab cheat sheet, which is really fun, A through T. So it's just like really big words: altar, apostle, atonement, baptize, believer, consecrate, covenant, covet, disciple, grace, idolatry, mercy, Messiah, redemption, repentance, righteousness, sacrifice, salvation, sanctify, sin, sovereignty, and testimony. So it's just this fun little Bible vocab cheat sheet. And then she had this spiritual armor diagram, which I think is really fun, from Ephesians 6:10-18, with this knight telling you what all of the different things are. So I thought that was just really fun. And then the final printable I have here is, it's just kind of like a reference to like the characters of God, the characteristics of God. So the Lord is my, and then it lists all of these characteristics of God and where they're found. He is, additional characteristics, and where they're found. So I absolutely love that, because I'm really trying to focus in right now in my study on what does the Bible say about God and who God is and how does it reflect his glory. So I'm really trying to focus on that and learn who God is. I have that list here. I think I just left a blank page here because I move on the next page to my trackers. I left a page here to put in additional reference. And then the Bible tracker, I can't remember, it's from an Etsy shop. I did get a new one. I had one that I was using on my iPad, as you remember. I have a couple. I actually have I have the tracker from How to Faith a Life, and then I have another one that I got on Etsy that's on my iPad. I really love this one, so I got a new one. So it's just like a guide that you can kind of fill in, and then it gives you like information on everything. So it breaks up the Old Testament into the Pentateuch and Law, historical books, poetic books, major prophets, minor prophets, and then it gives you kind of like a color code that matches this, and then it gives you information about that section of the Bible. So it's just another kind of little like guide. And then it goes into my new Bible tracker. So I thought it'd be fun to be able to do like the actual individual verses. So this one is a really fun one that's kind of like any book tracker that you see online. But it's, you know, hanging bookshelves with all the books of the Bible, so you can color in that particular book when you finish. And then also this tracker where you can color in the individual chapters as you finish them. So I have 2 pages for the Old Testament and 1 page for the New Testament. And then I can also color as well. So I can like have fun like actually coloring in those pages. And then going into the pink is questions. And I went ahead and made myself, knowing, because I'm already on 2.5 pages in this one, that I would have lots of questions. So I made 3 pages, and I did decorate some of these pages with just some simply gilded washi, and then some more of those little like stickers that I made on Canva. So I have questions page 1, questions page 2. This is just an image I found on Canva and printed it as a sticker. And questions page 3 with another one of those butterflies. So those are all of the pages for questions. And then I have some additional Amy Center reference pages, because I am studying the Psalms right now. So I have these 2 Psalms printables that just break in the Psalms into the 5 books of Psalms, and what chapters fall under those. who all the Psalms were written by, the genres in Psalms, 2 prayer formulas, lament and thanksgiving. And then it gives like references of what they are as well. The instruments used, ways to worship, and then descriptions of God. So again, characteristics of God found in the Psalms. I just thought this was a really good guide and overview to the Psalms, and just so cute. Just love her doodles. And then we go into my Acts study. So I'm already, I guess, about halfway through Acts, and will be about halfway through Acts when I finish in my other book. But these are just some printables, again, from Amy Center, and this is the one from on Acts. So she gives you like the actual like timeline of Acts here, with all of the big events that are going on. There's this new leadership. Believers become Christians, and then the verse reference, who is Paul, what books Paul wrote, and then it has all these fun, like, their letters. So the red ones are letters to the church, and then the blue ones are letters to a person, and then it even gives you the map of where all the letters were sent. So I just thought it was a really, really good Acts resource. And then we go into the blank pages, and this is where obviously I will restart my Acts study once I run out of pages in my other Bible study notebook. It has lots and lots of pages, so I have lots of pages to fill. But yeah, so that is the setup so far that we have in my new Bible study notebook, which is different from other notebooks that I use. So this is specifically for Bible study. So it'll be like Bible study notes, word studies, verse studies, character studies, those kinds of things. And then all of my Bible study questions as we go. So that is my new flip through of my new Bible study notebook. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. It was a shorter video. Some people like the shorter ones. So I hope this gave you some inspiration on what you could do with your own Bible study notebook. And like I said, this art journal was like super cheap. It's really big. So I'm going to be able to fit a lot of notes into it and have fun with it as I study God's Word. If you love this video, of course, give it the thumbs up. If you'd like to follow along with me on my spiritual journey as I discover what I believe, why I believe it, and find God, then definitely hit that subscribe button. I would love to welcome you so that you can come along on this journey with me. Let me know in the comment section below if you liked this setup and what you use for notes for your Bible study. Okay guys, I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.